In the outskirts of Kerala, nestled among ancient trees and ancestral lands, a new tenant moved into a lonely house. The bachelor, a quiet man working in a typical 9 to 6 office job, would return every evening with parcels of food or groceries to prepare a simple dinner. His days were monotonous, filled with the routine of modern life, and his nights were uneventful until he started visiting his kitchen. The kitchen, rarely used, was connected to a dimly lit backyard. Beyond the kitchen, overgrown banana plants brushed against an algae-covered wall. It was there, in the shadowed corner of the yard, that he first noticed her. At first, it seemed like an ordinary thing, the silhouette of a woman in the distance, her face barely visible in the fading twilight. He would occasionally glance out the window and see her staring, just her gray eyes fixed on him. She never moved closer, just stood there watching. He thought nothing of it, assuming she was a curious neighbor, maybe someone from the house behind his. But the thought gnawed at him. And one weekend, while chatting with a local, he casually asked about the woman who stood near his kitchen wall. The reply sent a chill down his spine. "There are no women who come out after dark." The women, he explained, had stopped venturing out after a tragedy. A woman named Shivani had lived nearby, and years ago, she had committed suicide after the heartbreaking disappearance of her only son. Her body had been found near the train tracks, decapitated. It was said that Shivani's spirit wandered through the dark corners of the neighborhood, her gaze forever locked on the young men who reminded her of her lost child. The bachelor fell ill soon after, overcome with fever and debilitating fatigue. The local community whispered that it was the curse of Shivani. Doctors could find no physical cause for his condition. His health, his mind, everything seemed to wither under the weight of an invisible fear. When he returned home, curiosity overcame him. He ventured behind the wall where the woman had always stood. What he discovered shook him to his core. The wall was at least 8 feet tall on the other side. No one could have stood there watching it. Terrified, he packed his belongings and fled the house, leaving the village for good. But to this day he insists on what he saw, that her head had been there on the wall, staring at him. But nobody ever followed. Locals still tell the tale of the ghost of Shivani, who haunts the quiet streets and dark backyards of the village, her decapitated figure forever searching for what she had lost.